August 6, 2025 was never meant to be ordinary. It's a checkpoint disguised as a date. And if you're watching this before it hits, you're already inside the shift. The moon is approaching a zone it rarely enters, one that doesn't bend your path, it replaces it. And if you've been noticing strange timing, everything still works, but none of it's working for you, or moments that feel too aligned to be random. This is why what's ahead doesn't ask for improvement, it asks for interruption. And tomorrow, something old in you loses access permanently. Most won't notice. They'll keep looping. They'll say it was a weird week, but not you, because this moon doesn't rise for everyone. It only activates who's ready to lose what no longer belongs. This rare moon event on August 6th is more than a cool moment in the sky. It's your personal wake-up call from the universe. It's like the energy around you suddenly shifts gears, pushing you to realign with what actually matters. You might notice your thoughts becoming clearer, your intuition sharper, and emotions rising that you can't quite explain. That's not random. It's this energy working with you, not against you. This moon isn't asking you to figure everything out overnight. It's simply showing you what you've outgrown and where you're ready to grow. It brings clarity without pressure, nudges without noise. For anyone who's been waiting for a sign, this is it. The kind that doesn't shout. It quietly moves everything into place. You're being guided into a version of yourself that's lighter, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. If you feel like this message found you at the right time, type "right on time" in the comments below. Also, like this video and subscribe. August 6th is pulling focus for a reason. The rare moon event unfolding on this day isn't just catching eyes, it's cracking open clarity. Think of it like the universe putting a spotlight on everything that's been running in the background, asking you to pay attention in a new way. Not with panic, not with pressure, but with purpose. Imagine standing in the middle of a crossroads, and suddenly, the path that once felt foggy starts lighting up step by step. That's the vibe of this lunar moment. You're not being forced to choose. You're being reminded of what's already been calling you. The moon in its rare form acts like a mirror, held up to the parts of your life that have outgrown their limits. Habits, mindsets, even relationships that no longer match who you've been growing into. Astrologically, this moon brings a mashup of contrast. It mixes emotion and logic, reflection and bold clarity. It doesn't demand anything dramatic. It simply highlights what you can't keep ignoring. Imagine scrolling through your life like a playlist and suddenly realizing which tracks no longer sound like you. That's what this moon is doing. It's showing you what's been on loop and nudging you toward a fresh rhythm. Numerologically, August 6th brings in the energy of the number 6, which is all about alignment between your inner world and your outer world. It's not about perfection. It's about making small, honest moves toward real harmony. Paired with the 8th energy of August, the number of personal power, it becomes a reminder that growth doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be real. The moon itself is in a position that amplifies self-awareness. You might catch yourself thinking differently, wanting cleaner space, clearer talks, deeper peace. Not because anything is wrong, but because you've outgrown what once felt normal. It's like upgrading your vibe without needing to explain it to anyone. Even emotionally, this energy works more like a quiet confidence than a storm. It's not trying to shake your world, it's trying to help you own it. The noise fades, the distractions lose their shine. What's left is something clean and honest. Your next move, fully yours. And for those tuned into the sky lately, you've probably noticed the build-up, the little nudges, the timing, the sudden clarity that seems to come from nowhere. That's no coincidence. It's all part of this rare moon's momentum, like the universe syncing your inner GPS and handing you the next location, not as a demand but as an invitation. Even your energy with others might start shifting. You'll notice who brings clarity, who drains it, what conversations recharge you, and which ones leave you feeling off. Again, It's not about cutting things off. It's about tuning into what actually supports the version of you you're stepping into. This moon on August 6th is a reminder that growth can be gentle, shifts can be clean, and clarity doesn't always come with a bang. It can arrive in quiet moments, a shift in pace, a new thought that lands and doesn't let go. So when you look up at the moon on August 6th, know this: it's more than light, it's a signal. One that doesn't demand change, but makes space for it. One that reflects back the version of you that's already rising. And now, finally, ready to lead. Take a moment right now to be fully where you are. You've probably been moving fast, thinking, planning, overthinking. It's easy to forget how powerful a pause can be. No dramatic setup, just you, in this moment, without needing to fix anything. You don't need to do more. You don't need to prove anything. Just lean into being fully here. On August 6th, something rare unfolds, not just in the sky, but inside you. This rare moon event acts like a spotlight, but it doesn't pressure you to perform. It clears the noise. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right on time for what's already starting to align within you. Take one slow moment to notice the space around you. Its quiet corners, its calm edges. The energy of this moment isn't loud. It doesn't push. It simply opens. In that opening, your clarity sharpens. Think of how the sky looks just before the stars start to pop through. Still, wide, expectant. That's what this moment offers. Not chaos, not overwhelm. Just a clear space where truth can finally rise to the surface. Now shift your attention inward, not in a serious, heavy way, but with curiosity. You've carried so much in your mind lately, thoughts looping, questions hanging, timelines stretching. But now, none of that needs to be solved. Not right now, not here. This isn't about fixing, it's about reconnecting. Notice what stands out inside you, without needing to define it. What pulls forward, what softens, what feels like it's ready to move, or be seen in a new way. Maybe it's a new direction that's been quietly waiting. Maybe it's an old story that doesn't land the same way anymore. You don't need answers, you just need presence. And you've got that now. Now invite a shift, not with force, but with awareness. You've grown in ways you didn't fully track. You've let go of things you once thought were permanent. You've made room without even realizing it. And now, that space is ready for something new. You don't have to know what that new is. The moon knows. The timing knows. You'll catch up to it with each clear decision you make moving forward. As this rare moon approaches, it brings a deeper clarity to what's next. Not in a dramatic movie-style kind of way, but in the quiet decisions you're already leaning toward. A deeper no, a more honest yes. A step back from what drains you, a step forward into something that just clicks. Let the next few minutes be your reset, not because you're broken, not because you've failed, but because you're allowed to begin again whenever you need. This is one of those moments. No pressure, no checklist, just presence, just truth. That's more than enough. Now invite these words into your awareness, not as a script, but as a rhythm. Let them wash through your mind in your own pace, your own way. I'm not chasing anything. I'm aligned with what finds me. There's no need to force these phrases. Let them unfold naturally. You might connect with one more than the others. That's how you know where your attention wants to land. That's your doorway in. Stay there for a while. And now, notice how much lighter your energy is when there's no pretending, nothing to perform, nothing to chase. Just clarity, just alignment with what already fits. This rare moon isn't about goals. It's not here to hype you into chasing. It's here to simplify, to bring everything back to what actually matters. You know what that is. You've always known. Sometimes the noise just makes it harder to hear. So, right now, in this space, drop into that knowing again. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't ask for permission. It's been with you the whole time. You're just finally quiet enough to hear it. Notice what parts of you are waking up now. Maybe it's a new direction calling you forward. Maybe it's an old dream coming back with a clearer vision. Maybe it's a version of you that's ready to be seen after hiding in the background for too long. You don't need to define what it is. You just need to welcome the open. That's what this moon is making space for. A version of you that's fully honest, fully awake, and ready to lead from a clearer place. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. Now shift your focus to the energy you're carrying forward from here. What stays, what gently falls away. You don't need to drag anything just because it's familiar. You're not the same as you were last month, last week, even yesterday. That's a good thing. The moon reminds you that transformation doesn't always look wild. Sometimes it looks like quiet decisions, a softer pace, a higher standard, a deeper self-respect. That's growth too. And it lasts longer. You're not becoming someone new. You're finally syncing up with who you've been all along underneath the noise, the pressure, the expectation. You don't owe the past version of you anything. You don't have to stay in places where your energy no longer fits. You're allowed to make clean exits. You're allowed to choose new paths, new people, new rhythms that match who you're becoming. The energy of now supports that. It clears the static. It brings your power back to the present moment. That's where everything real begins. Not in the future, not in memory, but in the now. From this point forward, you're moving with a new level of clarity. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to overthink it. Just stay with the signals. You'll know what fits. You'll know what's past its time. You've outgrown the version of you that waited for permission. That energy doesn't hold anymore. What opens next is smoother. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you start making lighter, cleaner moves. That changes everything. Nothing echoes louder right now than your own clarity. That inner pulse that's been guiding you in subtle ways is no longer whispering. It's unapologetically present. You're tuning into a new frequency, one that doesn't beg for permission, one that doesn't dilute itself to make others more comfortable. The version of you that kept shrinking to fit timelines or expectation. You've outgrown it fully and completely, not through force, but through a quiet rise from within. The rare moon event surrounding August 6th wasn't meant to shake things up. It was meant to shift what you're willing to carry forward. This isn't about manifesting a list of things to check off. It's about getting clear on what no longer speaks to your truth. In this space, your thoughts are finally catching up to your inner knowing. The noise of the outside world fades, not because you're ignoring it, but because your focus has changed. You're choosing where to place your attention, with more intention than ever before. Things you used to entertain now feel distant, almost unfamiliar. It's not loss, it's growth. You're creating space without guilt. You're detaching without drama. There's a lightness in your decisions because they're coming from alignment, not survival. And as you release the urge to explain every shift, you begin to understand something deeper. Your transformation doesn't need validation to be real. This moon didn't bring answers in the way you expected. Instead, it offered permission to stop trying so hard, to stop proving, to let silence speak, where words once filled the gaps. You're not rushing forward, and you're not stuck. You're in that powerful middle space, where everything is calibrating. That's not confusion, it's renewal in progress. Even your body knows it's moving differently, not out of routine, but out of clarity. Every step you take feels more intentional, more grounded, and while the world still moves at its usual speed, you've found your own rhythm, one that doesn't rush, one that listens before reacting, one that isn't shaped by urgency, but by understanding. You're no longer drawn to what drains you. You're not triggered in the same way. You notice things, but they no longer carry the same weight. That's not detachment. That's evolution. You're unlearning the need to grip so tightly. You're welcoming flow, even in uncertainty, because now you trust your pace. And more than that, you trust yourself. The beauty of this moment isn't in what you're calling in, it's in what you're no longer chasing. You don't need constant validation, loud milestones, or applause to feel seen. You're becoming your own witness, quietly, completely, and on your own terms. The version of you that's emerging now isn't concerned with who understands. You're not here to be easily understood. You're here to be real. And yes, you're releasing things, but not from a place of bitterness or frustration, from a space of calm knowing. You've seen enough to know what fits and what doesn't. You're not filtering your emotions through fear anymore. You're moving through them with honesty, and that's where real strength lives. As this moon passes, the external shifts will catch up. But the inner reset is already happening, that deep exhale that comes when you're not trying to hold everything together. That inner yes that comes when you're no longer ignoring your own voice. No fireworks needed, no declarations, just movement that feels right, even if it's quiet. If you're standing at a decision point right now, trust that you're not behind. The world may try to convince you that progress needs to be loud, but you know better now. You've tasted a version of peace that doesn't rely on performance. And once you've experienced that, you can't go back. You won't. Not every chapter needs closure. Not every bond needs explanation. And not every thought deserves airtime. You're learning to filter what gets your energy. You're learning to walk away, not in anger, but in integrity. You're not shutting down. You're simplifying. And in that simplification, you're becoming more clear, more direct, and more powerful in your presence. Your timeline doesn't have to match anyone else's. What's meant for you isn't late. What's unfolding now doesn't require struggle. You're not being tested. You're being redirected toward what actually fits. And the quieter you become, the easier it is to hear what's next. Not from others, from yourself. You're not starting over. You're starting deeper. And in this rare moon energy, the clarity isn't coming from pushing harder. It's coming from letting things land on their own. Let this be the season where you don't chase what confuses you, where you let ease speak louder than effort, where you don't rush to fix what time is already softening. You're allowed to change direction without guilt. You're allowed to honor your new capacity, and you're allowed to enjoy what's unfolding, even if it looks different than you imagined. This chapter isn't about proving your worth. It's about living it fully, without apology. No one warned you that transformation doesn't always come dressed like triumph. Most of the time, it walks in quietly, clearing out what no longer fits. And yet, in that quiet, something unmistakable starts to form. Not a theory, not a philosophy, a realization. You're no longer guessing what you're here to do. You've spent enough time shrinking and second-guessing to understand that clarity doesn't beg for validation. It simply arrives. It rewrites how you walk into rooms, how you hold space, and how you stop performing for approval you've outgrown. This rare moon event isn't here to give you answers on a silver tray. It's here to reflect the ones that already matured within you. It doesn't arrive with drama. It arrives with a kind of pressure you've already been learning how to navigate. And by August 6th, that pressure takes form in decisions that feel overdue. Growth has never been about knowing everything. It's been about knowing when to stop entertaining what isn't made for who you are now. And this moon, it's not asking you to start over. It's demanding that you continue without shrinking back into chapters that have clearly ended. The most magnetic version of you isn't created through perfection. It's shaped in silence, in quiet pivots, in unspoken departures. That's why this moment doesn't need your big announcement. It needs your steady decision. You've outgrown outdated timelines that told you progress had to look linear. Now you're moving with rhythm, not rules. Now you're noticing how real power isn't about proving anything. It's about walking forward without the need to explain who you've become. This revelation may not feel loud or dramatic, but it will mark a permanent change. It's the part of your life where your own presence starts to feel like home again. You won't need permission to choose what brings ease. You won't need permission to pause, to redirect, to hold your power lightly instead of clenching it. During this week, you might catch yourself making decisions that don't come from logic, but from something deeper. Not emotion, not reaction, but a kind of deep knowing that only arrives when the noise fades. The kind of knowing that makes people wonder how you suddenly became so clear. This moon is like a mirror that doesn't flatter you. It challenges you, not with fear but with the truth of what you've been postponing. You already know what doesn't fit. You already know what's been silently pulling you off course. And now, you're ready to do something about it. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about removing what kept you distant from your own voice. You don't owe explanations. You don't owe a performance. What you owe is honesty with yourself. And when that becomes your standard, everything starts moving differently around. This is not a soft whisper asking for reflection. It's the kind of internal wave that makes you revise how you show up in conversations, in commitments, in your own mind. Even your silence feels different now. Even your rest isn't a retreat anymore. It's strategy. By the time August 6th lands, this rare moon carries a rhythm that doesn't beg to be understood. It only needs to be moved with. And those who are tuned in will feel the impulse not to rush, but to refine, not to chase, but to Your insight is no longer borrowed from books or beliefs handed to you. It's been earned through every single moment where you kept going without recognition. It's been molded in those hours you weren't sure anyone noticed, but you kept showing up anyway. You no longer need permission to evolve beyond who people remember you to be. You are not a version they get to freeze in time. You are not a repeat. You are a reminder that healing doesn't always need to announce itself. It shows in how you return to yourself. The further you move through this week, the more obvious it becomes. The discomfort wasn't a detour. It was a signal, not to fix yourself, but to stop settling into lives that were built around your smaller phases. That's what the rare moon on August 6th is here to do. It's not here to decorate your thoughts with hope. It's here to wake up the parts of you that stopped waiting. You're no longer pulled by what once impressed you. You've grown past needing everything to look ideal on the outside. The approval, the timelines, the applause, it no longer lands the same. Now it's about accuracy. Now it's about integrity with your own direction. This revelation is not external. It doesn't arrive through some big moment. It arrives when you notice you're no longer giving your energy away so easily. The one who used to explain everything now says less and does more. The one who used to tolerate noise now walks away mid-sentence when it no longer lines. There's no formula for what you're moving through. That's what makes it real. You can't copy it, you can't skip it. But what you can do is stop looking backwards for proof you're on the right track. Some days it might feel uncertain, but it's not the old kind of confusion. It's the pause before precision. You're being pulled inward, but not to hide. You're being pulled inward to upgrade how you carry yourself outward. You've got new boundaries now, and they weren't built from fear. They were born from clarity. What used to attract you now barely holds your attention, and what once drained you don't even touch it anymore. The rare moon this week acts like a filter you can't unsee. Things that once felt important begin to fade, not because they're wrong, but because they're wrong, but because they no longer resonate with the version of you that's stepping in. The volume on old loops is down, and suddenly, what used to confuse you now feels strangely irrelevant. This isn't about rushing to be ahead. It's about anchoring so deeply in your own energy that anything chaotic around you becomes background noise. You're not the same version that once over-explained or over-committed. Now you value direction over attention, stability over stimulation, and that's the shift that redefines everything. People around you might not know what changed, but they'll feel it. The way you pause before saying yes, the way you hold your ground without raising your voice, the way your priorities are no longer up for debate. This is what internal alignment looks like when it becomes visible. This week isn't about waiting for a sign. You already are the sign. You already made the decision. Even if you haven't said it out loud yet, you already know which doors have expired. You already feel what conversations no longer have your full attention. All that's left is to move with it. And when you do, you'll notice something strange. The resistance you were bracing for doesn't come, because the version of you showing up now doesn't move with resistance. It moves with quiet certainty. It doesn't argue. It simply exits. It doesn't force, it flows in a different direction without needing to announce the reason. By the time the moon fades, this clarity will still remain. This is the part of your journey where you stop rehearsing your identity for others and finally step into the one that's been waiting for your full presence. You'll lose some things along the way, but nothing you lose will compare to what you gain, the peace of being fully rooted in who you are. This isn't the climax of drama. It's the arrival of alignment with your real self. You're no longer looking for permission to live the way your spirit already agreed to. You're not chasing transformation anymore. You've become it, quietly, powerfully, irreversible. August 6th doesn't come to inspire another high. It comes to anchor a deeper understanding of why certain things couldn't come with you. It marks a turning point, not because of what's happening in the sky, but because of what it confirms inside you. The rhythm of this week is not fast, focused. Those who are tuned in can already see it. What's aligning now is too important to rush, and too real to second guess. More than ever, this is a time to connect through clarity. There are people walking through the same kind of shift you are, and they may need to hear what landed for you. Drop a comment below and share one major shift you're making right now. Not what you're working on, but who you're becoming. What has changed in how you move, what you allow or what you no longer tolerate. Tap the like button if you're choosing alignment over aesthetics. Share this with someone who's quietly upgrading how they move in the world. And subscribe if you're ready for more weekly energy updates that don't sugarcoat growth, but meet you in the moments that actually matter. We're not here to predict, we're here to participate. And as more of us step into this new rhythm, the noise fades, the clarity sharpens, and the timing speaks for itself. You're not behind, you're exactly where things had to shift first on the inside.